India's top anti-money laundering agency has raided the Gupta brothers' ancestral home in Saharanpur. Reports say officials seized documents and digital records allegedly linked to shell companies. The three Indian brothers, Atul, Ajay and Rajesh Gupta, are accused of siphoning billions of rands in South Africa through their close association with former President Jacob Zuma. SABC News correspondent Ishan Garg joins us now from New Delhi. Thank you so much, Ishan, for your time. So speak to us about this raid. Paint a picture for us in terms of exactly what happened during this raid on the Gupta's family ancestral home and what triggered it.
Well, on August 25, India's Enforcement Directorate, which is the body responsible for enforcing the country's Anti-Money Laundering Prevention Act, they raided the house, the ancestral home of the Gupta brothers in Saharanpur. It's a city in India's most populous state of Uttar Pradesh, some about 200 kilometers away from where I am in capital New Delhi. And we understand that the raid went on for roughly 5 hours as the officials searched through the entire property. They were collecting documents, they were collecting digital items like hard drives, etc. Anything that they could get their hands on that could lead them to finding more clues and proofs potentially about this international framework of these shell companies, and potentially find links as to how any money laundering operation might have been conducted by the Gupta brothers. But that's not all of it. As these raids were being carried out in Saharanpur in the ancestral family home, we also understand that simultaneous raids were being carried out by Indian authorities here in the capital New Delhi, in India's financial capital Mumbai, as well as in the city of Ahmedabad in the West Indian state of Gujarat. So it was a coordinated effort by Indian authorities that led to this raid that lasted for multiple hours. As to what triggered this response from Indian officials, we understand that India received a direct request from the South African government, and we understand that both New Delhi and Pretoria have signed an understanding to cooperate with each other on criminal cases. So after that request came in from South Africa, Indian officials had to then look into these allegations, and we understand that these operations were being planned from months in advance, and now it remains to be seen what the officials are going to do with the documents and the digital records that they have found.
And I was going to ask, how this entire raid fits into the broader legal and political efforts to bring the Guptas to account, particularly, as you've also mentioned now, with South Africa seeking their extradition. Can you tell us at this stage what the next steps are in terms of charges, maybe other raids in other homes, and in terms of the investigations, any court processes that will then follow?
Well, there are a few things to highlight here. First of all, it's not only the Gupta brother family homes, family house that has been raided. The officials here are also looking into their potential business associates. And we've got two key people who are being investigated, as we understand. One is a person called Ram Ratan Jagati, and the other is a person called Piyush Goyal. Now, these two people are alleged to have been participating in a money laundering operation through multiple shell companies from which money was laundered between South Africa, India and the United Arab Emirates. That's where recent reports suggest the Gupta brothers currently are. Now, in terms of what the officials are going to do next, the step right now is going to be a forensic analysis, as it seems, of the digital records that have been found, of the documentation, and then the Enforcement Directorate, which is the body that's carried out these raids, they are going to frame their charges. We also understand that these two people that I have just mentioned, they might be questioned even further by the Enforcement Directorate, and then it would be time for the officials to frame official charges. At that point, we understand that the Indian government might look at collaborating a lot more closely with the South African government, and it remains to be seen how much of this information will be passed down to South Africa, which can then potentially be used in extraditing the Gupta brothers from UAE. But having said that, I need to point out that the that the action by Enforcement Directorate, it is quite substantial, because this is a body in India which holds immense power as far as money laundering operations are concerned. So it has the power to seize assets, to freeze bank accounts, to close down properties, even if it finds people who might be involved in money laundering operations. So this is going to certainly put a lot of pressure on the Gupta brothers, and that might even eventually help in South Africa's case for extraditing out of the UAE.
All right, as we wrap up, Ishan, very quickly, how has the Indian public, the media, reacted to the news of the raid, and more importantly, the location of the Gupta brothers at this point?
Well, in India, the Gupta brothers are often seen as this story of Indian entrepreneurs who go to another country and make it big. But they're also seen as a cautionary tale of how corporate players can sometimes be embroiled in massive controversies, and that's the lens through which the Indian public and the Indian media sees the Gupta brothers. Because in the past few years, we have seen multiple media reports prop up, even in India, accusing the Gupta brothers of a variety of actions. There was a report that came out 2 years ago which alleged one of the Gupta brothers to be involved in suicide of a builder in one North Indian state. And there was another massive public outcry when one of the Gupta brothers held a massive wedding event in a mountainous city in India. So the family is not looked at with a very positive lens in India. But as far as the family itself is concerned, the information that the Indian public has certainly relates only to their actions in South Africa.
All right, Ishan, thank you so much for that. Ishan Girg there for us from New Delhi, just giving us a sense in terms of that particular raid. India's top anti-money laundering agency raiding the Gupta brothers' ancestral home, saying that that raid took around 5 hours and that the South African and Indian authorities are working together. Ishan telling us that it is a months-long operation. So we'll certainly keep you posted in terms of what else will transpire out of this particular raid.